there, welcome to NTV English News Bulletin. I am Bhavana Casey. In the beginning, we have the headlines. Prime Minister Dahal holds meeting with Congress leader Dewa and Unified Socialist Chair Nepal agree to finalize ministry allocation by today. More severe storms likely to pound the U.S. state of Mississippi following deadly tornadoes that killed 26 persons, thousands displaced. Myanmar's army chief vows to cross resistance in a rare speech, describes the armed resistance against the military as acts of terror. And South Africa chases 259, the highest pursuit in T20 history, to beat West Indies by 6 wickets in a record-breaking second T20 international. Welcome back. You are with the NTV English News Bulletin. Now we have the news in details. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal and Speaker Devraj Ghimire held a meeting on the measures to make the parliamentary functions further effective. At a meeting held at the Prime Minister's official residence in Balwatar this morning, Prime Minister Dahal and Speaker Ghimire discussed on swiftly advancing some crucial bills. According to the Prime Minister's Secretariat, the meeting focused on the agenda of making parliamentary functions further effective and pro-people. On the occasion, the two leaders also discussed on advancing the bill related to transitional justice and other bills related to implementation of federalism and amendment to some bills. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal has held a discussion with Nepali Congress's President Sher Bahadur Dewa and CPN Unified Socialist Chair Madhav Kumar Nepal. The top brass of the parties in the ruling alliance met this morning at the Prime Minister's official residence at Balwatar to finalize the issue of cabinet expansion. The three leaders have decided to summon the meeting of the ruling 10 parties at 4 p.m. today and finalize cabinet expansion by today. Prime Minister Dahal, who is also the chairperson of CPN Mao Centre, has been consistently trying to give the government a full shape since gaining his second vote of confidence from the parliament on 20th of March. The need to incorporate the fringe parties has also been cited as one of the factors for the delay to expand the government. The Nepali Congress, meanwhile, has called a meeting of the party's Central Work Execution Committee to finalize the names of ministers to participate in Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal-led government. The meeting, to be held at the party's central office in Sanip on Tuesday morning, will discuss issues including the current political development and its role in the government, among the others. The meeting will also endorse the names of the ministers. Nepali Congress has laid claim over the 8 ministries led by UML before exiting the government. The issue of selecting candidates for the by-elections to be held on April 23rd in Tanohu Constituency number 1, Bara Constituency number 2 and Chitwan Constituency number 2 will also be discussed in the Congress's Central Work Execution Committee. With this update, time to go for a short break, but still to come we have. Welcome back. Now to more updates. 26 political parties have been registered at the Election Commission for the by-election of the members of the House of Representatives to be held on April the 23rd. The Election Commission had asked parties to submit an application for party registration at the Election Commission's Kantipat office from March 22 to March 26. By-elections are being held on April 23 in 3 constituencies of the House of Representatives. Ravi Lamichhane, who was elected from Chitwan Constituency number 2, was dismissed by the Supreme Court in a case related to the citizenship, and the constituency is lying vacant. Similarly, 2 constituencies of the parliament are lying vacant after senior leader of Nepali Congress, Ramchandra Paudel, elected from Tanohu 2, was recently elected as the country's president, and JSP leader Ram Shahai Prasad Yadav elected from Bara 2 as the vice president of the country. The victims of loan sharking have arrived in Kathmandu demanding justice after walking on foot for 12 days. A total of 92 victims started their journey from Bardibas of Ntvithari in a bid to exert pressure on the government. Earlier, the then Prime Minister Sher Bahadur Dewa's government showed interest after there was protest for months by the loan shark victims in July last year. The Ministry of Home Affairs then subsequently prepared a 26-page report by forming a loan shark crime control recommendation task force. The agitating loan shark victims withdrew the protest following an agreement between the victims and the government. However, the victims have launched their protest again after the government failed to implement the agreement to provide them justice. Chaiti Chhat festival is being celebrated today in Mithila region, including Janakpur Dham. Today, the ritual of Chaiti Chhat, which is celebrated for the faith for 4 days, offers evening prayers to the setting sun. After offering Arghe to the rising sun tomorrow morning, Chaiti Chhat will be formally concluded. Although there are not as many devoted devotees as the Chhat festival celebrated in the Nepali month of Kartik of the lunar calendar, the number of Chaiti Chhat festival is gradually increasing. Today, devotees enter the reservoir an hour before sunset and offer Arghe and other offerings to the god Ashan. It is believed that during Chaiti Chhat, every wish is fulfilled and skin diseases never occur. With this update, time to go for another break, but still to come we have. Welcome back now to more updates. More severe weather could be on its way to the U.S. state of Mississippi following the tornadoes which killed 26 people, the governor has warned. Governor Tate Reeves said significant risk remain in parts of the state. Hundreds of people have been displaced in the wake of the tornadoes which tore through Mississippi and Alabama on Friday night. Friday's tornado was the deadliest in the state of Mississippi in more than a decade. The head of Myanmar's military government has pledged to deal decisively with what he called acts of terror by armed resistance group. Min Aung Hlaing also accused countries critical of his regime's human rights record of being terror supporters. Since seizing power in 2021, the military has been locked in a bloody civil war against resistance groups. The conflict has killed tens of thousands of people and displaced more than 1 million people. But General Min Aung Hlaing was giving a rare speech at an annual armed services parade in the capital Naypyidaw, had an unyielding message: the Myanmar armed forces won't stop fighting those opposing their rule, whatever the cost. Tens of thousands have taken to the streets across Israel after Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu fired his defense minister. Yoav Gallant had spoken out against controversial plans to overhaul the justice system. In Jerusalem, police and soldiers used water cannon against demonstrators near Netanyahu's house. A week of disruption had already been planned over the new law. You're watching NTV English News Bulletin. More updates lined up on the other side, but before that, let's have the highlights first. To more updates, Germany's transport network will be at a near standstill on Monday as two of the country's largest unions strike. Staff at airports, railways, buses and subways walked out shortly after midnight for a 24-hour stoppage. Unions are demanding higher wages to help their members cope with the rising cost of the living across the region. There have been multiple smaller walkouts by other public service sectors, but Monday's will be the largest in decades in the country. Now to sports. Cristiano Ronaldo scored twice to help Portugal thrash Luxembourg 6-0 in Euro 2024 qualifying. Ronaldo, aged 38, broke the deadlock after 9 minutes before Joao Felix and Bernardo Silva pulled Portugal further clear. The Al Nassr forward sent his side in with a 4-0 lead at halftime, with substitute Otavia and Rafael Leo scoring late in the second period. Portugal tops Group J after winning their opening two Euro 2024 qualifiers. South Africa chose 259, the highest pursuit in T20 history, to beat West Indies by 6 wickets in a record-breaking second T20 international. Opener Quinton de Kock smashed 100 from 44 balls as the host incredibly won with 7 balls to spare in Centurion. Johnson Charles had earlier hit a 39-ball century in West Indies 258 for 5, the fastest T20 ton for the men's side. But de Kock and Reza Hendricks, who hit 68 from 28, assured an opening stand of 152, and they took 29 from the second over and reached 100 after 5.3 overs in a continuation of a remarkable display of 6 hitting on a flat pitch at altitude. Well, with this, we come to the end of this English News Bulletin. But before we say goodbye, let's have a quick reminder of the major stories making to the headlines of this edition. Prime Bahal holds meeting with Congress leader Deva and Unified Socialist Chair Nepal agree to finalize ministry allocation by today. More severe storms likely to pound the U.S. state of Mississippi following deadly tornadoes that killed 26 persons, thousands displaced. Myanmar's army chief vows to cross resistance in a rare speech, describes the armed resistance against the military as acts of terror. And South Africa chases 259, the highest pursuit in the T20 history, to beat West Indies by 6 wickets in a record-breaking second T20 international. Well, that's all we have in this edition of English News Bulletin. I'll see you again with next round of English Bulletin at 6 in the evening. Till then, have a great time ahead and do stay tuned with us to catch the latest news updates and other programs. Namaste.